Pastor side hustles that actually earn income. Let's get into it.
All right, so you brought me in here, Matt. We're talking about pastor side hustles.
Well, you and I read some articles a while back on the subject of how pastors can earn a little extra income. And some of the articles we found made us a little angry.
All right, I'm just gonna be brutally honest. I'm infuriated because what has happened is people that are like SEO bloggers out there that know how to write content that gets ranked #1 on Google have decided to take it upon themselves to write articles telling pastors the best ways to make money, except these articles aren't actually real ways that 99% of pastors can actually make money.
They're just articles that hit all the right keywords to get really high in a Google search. And that's it. It's just to drive traffic to the website. It doesn't actually have helpful information. So today, in this video, we're going to share ways that you can easily earn extra income, whether it be you're a pastor of a small church and you're not taking any income from that church, or maybe you are taking an income and you need some supplemental cash, or maybe you just have some debt you're trying to pay off, and that's it. We're going to cover the fastest way to start earning income and also the best way to earn a lot of cash, and then also kind of get into like the reality of some recommendations we've seen online.
We're going to have many things to talk about that. All right, so jump in. I want to talk about fast money now.
Fast money now.
As a pastor who's needing to make some extra money right here, right now, what are some ways that I can do it?
It's through the gig economy, specifically gig apps.
Gig apps.
So gig apps, these are apps that are created by, the tech industry that have already laid all the infrastructure and groundwork for you to just jump in and start earning cash. And these are apps like Uber, Lyft. Those are the ride-sharing apps. There's also meal delivery, so DoorDash and Uber Eats. And then there's grocery shopping. Like my wife and I use Instacart because we got 3 kids. We don't have time to pack them all in a car just to go to Costco. So we'll pay a little extra to have someone else pick up those groceries and deliver them straight to our house. We don't have to go anywhere.
So how can a pastor utilize the gig app to do this sort of stuff?
Well, all you have to do is go to the website for that gig app and sign up. And that's it. Most of these platforms don't require any payment to use them or any special certification. I mean, obviously for Uber and Lyft, you have to have a driver's license and insurance. And
you need to drive.
And that's about it. As long as you have those basic things, you can jump onto that platform and pick somebody up and earn some extra income. In fact, you could sign up for Uber and have your first ride later that afternoon. So you could start earning extra income same day within 24 hours.
That's awesome. Love it.
The only limitation is that these apps typically determine how much you can charge for these rides, or at least how much you can earn in addition to that. I know with Uber, they guarantee $6, a minimum of $6 tip for every single ride. But if the person you're picking up pays through the app, they actually take the $6 out of that tip and then give $6 themselves. So they don't pay $6 and then the $5 that person gives you is an additional $5.
Okay.
They keep the $5, they give you $6.
Okay.
And so you are a little bit limited. You can't set your own prices. You can't set your hours. You just jump in when you're available. And if there's rides in your area, you can pick those people up. That's how it works. It's not very consistent, but it is the fastest way to get in and start earning extra income. My pastor does Uber.
Yeah, I was about to say, your pastor did Uber. Is he still doing Uber?
Yes, he does.
So that's a great way.
He was doing Uber for the first 2 years of the church's existence after he planted it when he was taking $0. And now that he is taking income from the church, he still does it just to add that little extra supplemental income.
It's a great thing.
The other way to do it is to become a freelancer, which is kind of the same thing as the gig economy, but you do have to do a lot of your own work.
Okay.
So whether it be, let's say, being a musician, you're a musician. Mm-hmm. If you know how to play music, whether you're the worship pastor or you just happen to know how to play the piano or guitar, you can become, let's say, a wedding singer. You can play music at wedding venues.
I mean, I could be the next Adam Sandler when it comes to that.
I don't know if that's high praise or not. But you can do stuff like that if you have a talent or a skill. you can jump in and monetize that and start earning extra income.
And I am a walking example of this, because for a long period of time, I'd be leading out worship at my church, but then I would also play other gigs where I'd play at like a Mellow Mushroom or something, just to make some extra money on the side. Is usually a quick $150, $200 if it was a really good night, just to make some side money.
Now, you can also teach whatever you know. In other words, like you can become a coach or a teacher. And a lot of pastors, you're already experts at team leadership, at studying research and writing. So if you are a writer and you're really good at like copy editing, you can jump on a platform like Fiverr or Upwork and offer up your services to edit other people's work, just to sharpen everything that they have to offer. Also, if you're an expert in leadership, you can coach people, you can teach leadership principles, or you can teach people how to plant a church or start a business. If you have experience in the secular world, but maybe you worked in the secular field before you became a minister, you could also coach people or teach people in the skills that you earned before you joined the ministry. There's a lot of different ways you can take what you already know and what you're already good at and use it to earn extra income. The difference, though, is the gig apps have that very low cost of entry. They've already laid all the groundwork. So it's easy to get on board and start earning income, but you don't get to set your prices and it's not very steady income. But with becoming a freelancer, you can decide your prices. You can use what you already know, and you can earn much better income if you have steady stream of clients. Well, that's the challenge is establishing yourself, getting your name out there, and getting that client base.
And that's what sets apart, just even in my personal experience, using a gig app and then moving to an area of life where you're like, okay, I'm going to start. You're basically starting a business, but it's more so just like a tiny side business. And I've talked to so many pastors who have done these sorts of things. In fact, one of my friends, he actually started a t-shirt printing business. He spent the money, got a press. And for those of you out there who have started a t-shirt printing, I mean, a lot of people have started in.
My pastor did.
Did he really?
Dude, see, here's the thing, and we're kind of jumping the gun. The best approach is to do both the gig apps and the freelancing. And the reason why is because neither is very consistent or reliable. So whenever one income stream dries up, you can jump into the other. So my pastor does Uber. He also does t-shirt printing.
Man.
He does it for churches, he does it for businesses, he does it for like nonprofits and ministries, and he does it for our church. That's the other benefit of doing t-shirt printing is you can give your church t-shirts for very free, for very cheap, almost free.
Very free. Well, and another one of my friends, his dad actually had a company that did like upholstery cleaning and rug cleaning and stuff. And this is the kind of stuff that he was able to kind of weave into his ministry. And so on those moments where he's like, all right, I need some side money to be able to pay for this or that, or to pay for things for the ministry, he would do these things. And it was just so cool to see that, how as a pastor, you can utilize sometimes some manual labor to do these things. But to be able to make some extra side income with that.
Well, like there's other little niches that you can get into as well. Like you're really into watches. You love watches. And the watch world is full of people who like to buy a watch but then modify it or make little improvements to it. Whether it be like replace the acrylic with crystal glass or even changing like the hands or the watch face itself. You can do these little things to modify it to make it what you want and earn. Well, people that do these modifications can earn income. Because a lot of this is just out on the market. It's not through the actual watchmaking company. Another thing that I'm into is like EDC. And what I've seen a lot of people get into...
EDC, I don't even, is that like EDM?
No, it's not a drug, I promise. It's called everyday carry, and it's the whole world of like watches and multi-tools and pocket knives and just everything that you carry on your person every day. So a lot of people get into like buying a Leatherman multi-tool and then modifying it by taking some tools off that they don't normally use and buying on like the aftermarket, buying tools additionally that they put onto their tool that they would use normally. So like you can take a tool like this, which thank you very much for giving this to me for Christmas. I love this thing. You can take a multi-tool like this that has lots of extra tools in the arm. And let's say you never use the awl and you want to replace it with like a screwdriver. You can do that. But there are people that you could well, with the tools you probably already have, like screwdrivers, you can take this apart and someone can buy an aftermarket part and send you their multi-tool, and you can put it on for them and send it back and earn a little extra income. There are people that do this on the side or even as like their primary job. They make so much money.
I didn't even know. Like I knew there was a niche in that, but I didn't realize there was like a niche to the point where people actually monetize that.
Oh my goodness, like
blows my mind.
Knife sharpening is big, dude.
This guy, what are these weapons?
Yeah, I'm dangerous. I'm armed and dangerous. You can buy these really cheap and affordable knife sharpening kits. Like WorkSharp is a company that just released a knife sharpener. I think it's a little over $100, but it's really, really effective at sharpening knives very precisely for like with very low effort, and it's only a little over $100 to buy the kit.
So it's so funny. Since I have a friend that actually bought like a really nice knife sharpener, and he sharpens knives for chefs and stuff. And so he has this clientele of people, and he just does this like once a month. He'll just sharpen all these knives, and that's it. And he makes like an extra $400 or $500 a month to do this.
Bet you he's charging close to $50 to $75 per knife to do it.
Man, I need to get into knife sharpening.
Yes, and you can do it with a kit that doesn't even cost a lot, so it's a very low cost of entry. The next is like getting into manual labor, like you mentioned. This is the next area that you can get into to earn extra income. If you're physically able, you can start like a lawn mowing business or a pressure washing business. Manual labor is always in demand. Because stuff still needs to be maintained or fixed or worked on. Even when the economy tanks, grass still needs to be cut.
Yes, it does.
Stuff still gets dirty and needs to be cleaned.
And the beauty of these things is like you don't have to spend $1 gazillion to get into that. So like if you want to start mowing up, well, you may already own a lawnmower and you can just start mowing some of your neighbors' lawns. If you want to get into pressure washing, you may already own a pressure washer. If you have to go buy one, you can get commercial grade pressure washers relatively inexpensive now.
The last company I worked for, there was this kid, he was like 20 years old, who started a pressure washing business on the side. And he got into pressure washing dump trucks and garbage trucks.
Don't tell me he's already retired now at this point.
Wes, he was making more money on his side job than he did at his day job. Now, he bought a commercial grade pressure washer that would like heat the water and get it really hot. I think it was made by Honda. The whole setup cost, I think, like $10,000, but he had paid it back in like 3 months. That's how much money he was making at his side job.
Well, and that's very similar to my friend that did the furniture cleaning and all that. He had this very specified equipment that's made to do steam cleaning and all this stuff. But whenever you charge, that high dollar amount per house or per item, it really adds up. All right, so we've given a lot of good ideas.
Right.
Now let's talk about the ideas that we see when you search this stuff online. The ideas that I'm just going to brutally just say this. I think they're terrible ideas. I think for 99% of pastors out there, telling them to do some of these things and putting this false notion that you as a pastor can make all this side money with these things, I think is silly. So let's talk about it.
It's like telling a kid you can absolutely make it into the NBA. I mean, kids in college make it into the NBA all the time, but like the statistical odds of any individual child getting into professional sports is extremely low. Same with blogging, podcasting, and YouTubing.
All right, let's talk about this.
So we see a lot of these articles online recommending side hustles for pastors, recommend getting into like blogging, starting a blog, starting a YouTube channel, or podcasting. We recommend your church have a blog, or your church website have a blog, and your church do a podcast and a YouTube channel. Just because you are already producing a lot of content that does really well on those platforms, and adding that to your website and your YouTube channel in conjunction together does help you rank a little bit higher, at least in like a local SEO way, so that when people search churches in their area, you will rank higher in that, and they'll actually be more likely to come and attend. So for that purpose, blogging, YouTubing, podcasting, we highly recommend it. But as a side hustle to earn income as a pastor, it is completely unrealistic.
So first let's talk about blogging. This is a lot to unpack, and we're going to try to do it fast. So blogging as a pastor, I mean, first of all, you need to know what you're doing when you're writing for SEO to rank number 1 or 2 or 3 on Google. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're never going to rank. No one's ever going to go to your website. We know this because we literally write for a living here at ChurchTrac as well.
We do it all the time, and we know I pour hours of work into writing content, whether it be for these videos or for the blog, and we see our stats, and we know that it's not nearly what we want it to be half the time.
And as a pastor who doesn't do this for a living, that doesn't have the time and energy they've spent to learn how to write this, they just don't have a chance.
Yes.
It is silly to put this notion out there that they're going to make money with the blog. They're much better off doing something else that we just mentioned, the 10 million other things.
The thing is, there are tens of millions of YouTube channels. I think I read that there was like 50 or 51 million YouTube channels out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are 29,000 channels that have reached 1 million subscribers or more. So that means a less than 1% success rate in hitting the big numbers.
I'm thinking that's pretty low.
There's 600 million blogs, Wes. 600 million blogs. The odds of any one particular blog gaining enough attention to have a big following that you can start writing like affiliate links or having like a shop that you can sell things through and earn extra income or anything like that, it's really low. Like there's a lot of noise and you have to stand out among all of that noise.
Yeah.
And so the only way to really do it is if you have this really interesting niche that you're into that has a high search volume and you know how to write for SEO, or you use a tool to help you with SEO and you know how to do keyword planning and you have the time to do this for a year or two before it takes off. And that's the thing, like if you ever come across a blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast that is doing really well, you're looking at a minimum of like 2 years of that channel just grinding out content with no traction before it finally started to take off.
Yeah.
So if you have a really cool idea for a blog and you do know how to write for SEO and you do know how to generate video content and you do know how to do audio recording and it's easy for you.
Podcasting,
for podcasting. If you know all of this and you have a really great idea and you have the equipment, then I don't want to dissuade you from jumping in and knocking that out. But I don't want these other blog posts that we've come across fill you with a false hope that all you have to do is just take your sermons and put them on a blog and you'll start earning income. Like that's not going to happen.
It's not. Or like telling you as a pastor, you should create a class of some sort and that it's so easy to sell your classes. I mean, that's the equivalent of blogs, like saying, oh, it's so easy to make money on a blog. No, it is not easy to create a class and then market that class and sell that class and actually make side income on it. I've talked to a lot of church leaders that have tried that sort of thing in the past, and they came up with goose eggs on that.
So you have to have enough income or assets already for you to just sit on and work on that blog or that channel and without gaining any traction before it finally starts to take off and earning you extra income. And if you don't have that, and you probably don't, if you're watching this video looking for ideas for side income, you probably don't have the resources necessary to grind out work on something with no return for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what it takes for those things.
That's what it takes for these platforms for you to succeed and earn income. So put all those other blog posts aside. Just know that you can jump into those platforms if you have the right idea and the know-how. Otherwise, you probably need to use these gig apps or freelance work to earn extra income.
Now we'll close with just one more thing, and I think it's a good idea. This one blog I was reading was talking about how you should like get into Airbnb and stuff and buy a house. Please do not. If you don't know anything about how to like properly market a rental property for income and everything, the last thing you should be doing is buying one and sell it, doing that. But
you don't need to take a second mortgage in the hopes of earning enough income on a gig app like Airbnb. I mean, and plus, if you already have the resources necessary to buy a whole entire house, you don't need side income.
I think some of this stuff was probably written by ChatGPT, to be brutally honest.
It's possible.
But one thing I thought was a really good one, and this is actually something this resonated with me just because I've done this a lot in the past, is buying and selling things on like Craigslist or Facebook Market. This is actually, flipping things. Like if you know a lot about the things that you're trying to flip, or you're good at researching these things, that's actually a really great way to make money. Whether it maybe you're a pastor who also by chance knows how to work on cars, and then like once every couple months you buy a car that's a good fixer-upper that you can flip around. If you're the kind of person that, I know this is one that's really niche, but I have talked to someone who knows a lot about trailers and just would flip trailers. And I'm talking like trailers you tow things with your car.
Just would
flip trailers and buy like 1 or 2 trailers a month and then do a couple things to them, get them cleaned up, and then flip them and make like 3 times. So
yeah, I mean, I've seen that too. Like you take the plywood floor off and put down 2x4s to make it stronger. If you know how to weld, you can weld a cage around it to make it taller and hold more. So yeah, that's a good idea.
These are good side hustles that you'll actually make money from as a pastor, not creating a podcast or creating a YouTube channel or whatever. Oh man. Good stuff, Matt.
So when it comes down to it, our recommendation is to actually engage in multiple streams of income. So get into the gig apps. Do both Uber and Lyft so that when one dries up, you can check the other to see if maybe there are more users on that platform. Do DoorDash, do Instacart. Also, get into like a cheap way to earn extra income as a freelancer, whether it be custom apparel or modifying tools like I mentioned, because you can buy these kits for not a lot of money and then start modifying things for people. So the tools themselves don't cost a lot of money to get into that. But also just use your skills and review your own your own talents and gifting to see if maybe you could teach that to other people, and use all of this to earn extra income, and just balance your time and your skills together so that you can support your ministry with some side hustle income. Or just pay off debts or whatever else you need.
Cool. What are some side hustles that you have done as a church leader? Let us know in the comments below.